Hey everybody, I am Mandy with AmandaMiddleton.me, and I kind of just wanted to come to you this morning with a little bit of encouragement. Those of you who have been following my blog or following me on social media know that my husband and I are pretty open about some trials and things that we have gone through in our past because we do believe that God wants to tell our story so we can help somebody else going through the same exact thing. So, hopefully, it's helped some of you know that you're not alone and that, everybody deals with things in different ways. So, anyway, also, if you followed me on social media or on my blog, you know that I have dealt with anxiety and that it kind of creeps up at times too, still. So, um, anyway, I basically wanted to talk about anxiety this morning because a lot of women have been writing into me or talking to me one on one about them just dealing with anxiety. And you are not alone. Um, a lot of us have dealt with it, a lot of us are dealing with it. And so I don't want ever for anyone to ever feel like they're alone in this situation. But just to take you back a little bit and to tell you a little bit of my story, for those who don't know, we have a 6-year-old little girl and 3-year-old twin boys. When I had my boys, and do not take this the wrong way because it was not my boys' fault in any way whatsoever. I love my boys so much. Not only did I get twins out of it, but I also got the knowledge after I had my boys of how to fight back with my anxiety. So, um, sorry. So, yeah, I don't blame this on my boys whatsoever, but whenever we brought my boys home, I had a toddler at home. She was 3 years old, and I had two newborn babies, and I kind of went berserko for a little while because it was really just a whirlwind. And so we went from a family of three to a family of five. And honestly, for some people, that wouldn't be a huge deal, but for me, it was because I always had everything organized and everything in place and all this all the time. But yet, whenever I went from three to five people in my family, it wasn't always like that, and I didn't know how to handle it. So I had some major anxiety going on, and honestly, I it took me coming clean to my husband and to God and to pray through it to for me to really get and to understand where my anxiety came from. And I've probably always had anxiety, probably even as a kid, who knows, but I never really admitted that I had it and never really realized that I had it until after my boys were born because I was thrown into a whirlwind. I can remember, my little girl spilling water on the floor from her sippy cup, and then I had two infants screaming because they wanted to be fed. I was needed at every minute of the day and just could not stop. And that was, it took a toll on me. And I can remember calling my husband going, I can't do this. And I can't even take a step forward. I'm sitting on the steps of our stairs, and our daughter's looking at me like I'm crazy, and the boys are still screaming. I can't do this. And shortly after, he came home, and we knew that I had an issue that we needed to deal with. And so basically, this morning, what I kind of wanted to talk to you about was how I have dealt with my anxiety. It's still there. It's still a struggle. It's still a battle on some days, but I have made sure that every single day that I pray through it. I really have to pray through it. And I have to choose to fight it every day. if I don't wake up in the morning and I don't choose to fight it, it's going to defeat me. And I refuse for it to defeat me every single day. Not just for myself, but for my husband, for my kids, and for my friends and family around me too. They need me. I need them. So after I started praying about it and kind of admitted to myself that I was having anxiety attacks, whatever you call them, and I finally admitted it to God too and started praying through it, I started realizing my trigger points. Those trigger points that kind of trigger your anxiety. Everybody has them. Everybody has trigger points to different things. And my trigger points was stress, lack of sleep. So those are my two main trigger points. So I know that, if I'm going through a stressful situation, I really have to back up out of the situation, look at it firsthand, kind of hover over the situation and look at it and pray through it and just be like, okay, God, I give it to you, because without you, I can't get through this. And not only that, my anxiety is going to show and shine itself through if I don't start right now and nip it in the bud. So the first thing that you really need to do is to find your trigger points. Some trigger points cannot be avoided. Just like stress, everyday stress comes at you. And, it's just, I hate to say this, but it's life. It really is. Life can really be crappy some days, but it is what you make it. And you've got to just fight. You've got to get up in the morning and just fight and just say, I'm going to fight through this. I'm not going to let the enemy get the best of me, because the enemy's using that anxiety of yours against you right now. He's using it against you, and he's going to tell you that you have it forever and you'll never be healed of it and you'll never conquer it. And that's a big fat lie, because you can and you will. So another, like my other trigger point is lack of sleep. Let's just be honest. We're young moms. We have young kids. We're not going to get the sleep that we want and that we need some days. So those days that we've been up a lot with the kids, the night before, I just start out my day and say, okay, God, I've had lack of sleep. You take control. Show me what I need to do and where I need to go with this, and just start that positive thinking. The stinking thinking will get you nowhere with anxiety, depression, anything like that. Because if you're constantly saying to yourself, my anxiety's coming, my anxiety's coming, my anxiety's coming, this day has stunk, this day has stunk, this day I can't do anything. Well, guess what? You're going to be so stressed out and so high strung, and your anxiety is going to be through the roof because you spoke it into action. But if you say, I will not be defeated, my anxiety is not going to get the best of me, I do not have anxiety today, I will not let the stresses of life get to me, I will not let the lack of sleep get to me, I am joyful, I love my children, I love my husband, I love my God. You keep saying all that positive stuff, and by the end of the day, you're going to look back on it and go, wow, I defeated this. And it's a defeat one day at a time. If you defeated it one day, guess what? You can defeat it the next day too. And then the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day. You're not always, you are always going to probably be battling it in some way. But battle it with joy. If you can battle it with joy and say those positive things over yourself, over your life, over your husband, over your kids, you are going to have so much joy, and that anxiety is going to go out the window. So find your trigger points. Know what triggers your anxiety. Know what triggers it before it even hits you. And whenever it hits you, just start speaking those positive thoughts all day long over yourself, over your kids, over your husband. Pray. Pray again. Pray some more. Turn on some worship music. You may hear it in the background right here. That's the first thing that I do in the morning if I just know that I need it. I turn it on so it's in my head. And then most of the time, there's one song that usually sticks out in my head, and it's repeated over and over and over and over again in my head. What better music to be repeated over and over in your head again is Christian worship music. So hopefully those tactics, can help you and hopefully get you through a rough day. If you need any prayer, support, anything like that, please feel free to email me at mandy@amandamiddleton.me. And I will be glad to help you with your nutrition, your fitness, your prayer list, whatever you need help with to get past your anxiety, because I know those things have